In this video, small figures, tight poses. How do you keep paint from getting everywhere? Most board game figures come pre-assembled, so you'll have to take their pose into account when painting. This figure has much of its body covered up by their arms and their sword, so you need to take that in consideration for which order you want to paint things in. I advise you paint from the inside out. That way you're not accidentally painting over things that you've painted previously and have to double up your time that it takes to finish the figure. Looking at the model, I see the difficult parts to paint will be the overlapping torso, hair, legs, and inside of the mouth. The largest surface overlapped on the figure is the skin. If I can get a dark color over the torso, I won't have to go back to it since it's shadowed by the arms and won't be seen well on the table. I'll coat the rest of the skin this color too and brighten from there. I do the same for the mouth, so I won't get red paint on the teeth in the future. With the overlapped areas of the torso covered, we can now focus on the muscle groups, the bone armor, the fur cloak, and his hair. For this I'll be doing a bit of wet blending. Wet blending is where you apply colors to the figure without letting it dry. Each time you're applying different colors to those paints, they start to bleed and blend together, creating a smoother result. I use flat green, goblin green, and escorpina green to make my flesh tones. I put them on the palette and make blending tones between them. From there, I look at the volumes of the muscles and start defining the crevices and high points, blending up the colors as I go. While the flesh dries, I add depth to the mouth by coating it in dark wash. I then create a blend of brown and purple to lay out the base colors of the fur cloak, starting with the brown and lightening with a purple mix. For some added harmony, I use the same purple and mix it with black for the base of the hair. Seeing the tones together, I went back and pushed the base tones of the skin a bit more to get the muscle groups to pop. I then hit the tongue with some red to finish off the inside of the mouth. Lastly, I base all the teeth and bones with khaki. With the lighter tones down, I'll now focus on the leather and metals. I'll paint the leather in first to get into the close crevices, and then I'll work on the metals since that'll be easier to clean up in the future. I'll start with the easier to reach places. And to help ease painting the hard to reach places, I'll swap from my trusty painting handle to the ever faithful blue tack and cork. blend of bronze flesh tone, sun yellow, and lemon yellow for my gold base. Using blue-gray pale, I fill in the sword and the rivets. With the base colors done, it's now time to work on the highlights and contrast. Ignore those inside parts and overlapping spaces. Focus on the exposed spots, what you can see. Build your highlight around there. I start with building up the tones of the leather and bone, defining the midtone. You can see here how I'm choosing to paint a smaller area of the arms for the midtone. And when comparing the left side to the right, the difference really stands out. I apply the same process to the leather as well, being mindful of where the shadow would be from the pose. Turning my attention to the sword, I see this blade as a ragged, used weapon, and start to build the texture and color to represent that. As the blade dries, I work on building the highlights for the bone, teeth, and the base color for the eyes. The hair has been neglected so far, so with the rest of the body having their tones rounded out, I can work on the hair and keep the overall brightness level even. The cloak seemed a bit too vibrant, so I desaturated it and added a bit of grit to the edge. To bring a bit of harmony to the figure, I'm going to apply a thin coat of wash to the figure in certain areas. This is to apply a bit of grit and shade. With the colors a bit deeper now, it's time for some finishing touches. I bring back the highlight color of the flesh and bone at their highest points. And I finish up the blade by adding highlights to the edges, then create dings and scratches by placing light colors right next to dark colors. Then I use those gray highlights to apply specularity to the rivets and hair, and finally, fill out the pupils. With that, we have a finished piece. Remember, work from the inside out and plan well for your dark and light colors to reduce painting. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.